Hi, I'm Nicole. Welcome to my motivational report video. I chose tip number 9, craft engaging learning tasks. From the book Student Engagement Techniques by Barkley and Major. It is easy to tell when there's no interest in the lesson because you can see the learners are starting to stare off into space, trying not to fall asleep, and fidgeting to fight the boredom. If you're a teacher, you might ask yourself, how can I make the content required to learn more engaging? I was interested in this motivational strategy because I often find myself asking this question. I'm a workplace educator for the utility industry, and I have found it can be difficult to engage my learners who, for the most part, are not intrinsically motivated to learn the content. This aspect of motivation is a combination of intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic is where the learner has personal value in the content, and it makes them happy to learn it. Extrinsic is when the learner is motivated by an external factor, like a reward or a trophy. As written by Barkley and Major, in addition to crafting good questions, creating authentic learning activities can help engage students. This motivational strategy works most effectively when it's applied in 3 ways. You might be asking yourself, what does authentic subject, process, and product mean? Well, let me explain. Authentic subject is when we create activities that allow learners to relate the content to them personally. This can look like asking questions that relate the content to something they have experienced before. Another example is if we are teaching proper formatting, instead of the learner writing a fake letter, have them write to a family or friends instead. Authentic process is involving the student in their learning. An example of how this can be achieved is by having students split into groups to work together to research the lesson contents. Authentic products is to do something that holds the learner accountable. This is achieved by having the learner create a presentation or play a game built with questions from the content, like Monopoly. Taking this approach will affect both the learner and the teacher, as we're adding more value for the learner, and it will take more work and preparation for the teacher to achieve it. The impacts of this approach in the classroom, I think, are mostly positive. More learner engagement, better test scores, they can absorb the information better, and overall, a happier student. What's not to love? Well, some things to consider that could be seen as negatives is if it isn't authentic, it won't add value to your lesson. How we implement this motivational strategy can do more damage than good. If we have a group activity or assignment without structure, it can lead to unequal participation, task avoidance, or can be time-consuming for the student. Games can be a great tool. However, learners may begin to always expect a reward for learning if it's used too much, and it takes a lot of work from the teacher to design good games that have value. In the end, I still think the pros outweigh the cons.